Testament: The Order of High Human is an indie action RPG made and published by Fairy Ship Games. The team, founded by Mo and Joe Naderi in 2017, is made up only 15 people who have worked hard over the past 5 years to complete their first video game. We are therefore talking about a very hair-filled work from which emerges a great love for role-playing experiences with a subjective view, such as The Elder Scrolls or Dark Messiah of Might and Magic series that the developers referred to. During our first test, the Fairy Shop game product has shown up to work better when it has moved away from it is inspires and how. Now we will explain why. The protagonist of Testament: The Order of High Human is Oran, king of the immortal beings known as High Humans. In the world of Thessalia, they are the protectors of the light and treated as deities. Not all High Humans are equally satisfied. Oran brought his armor to obtain even greater abilities, embraces the forces of the darkness, and deprives the monarch of his powers, defeating him and condemning him to life in mortal form. As the fallen ruler, we must traverse and realms corrupted by darkness and recover our superhuman abilities by means of artifacts that belong to the Seekers, ancestral entities even stronger than the High Humans. Queen, however, the warrior will have to fight and restore the balance violated by his brother before it's too late. As to save himself and all of Thessalia, the campaign lasts about 20 hours and the plot is simple, told by short cutscenes in one shot, especially at the beginning. However, it's hard to keep up with the events, which are exposed with distinction between the history of the game and that they are worth. What is needed to understand the events is too often confused with folklore situations or with the optional lore situations, and sometimes you might lose your train of thought. Then there are one-off encounters with with certain NPCs which we'll never see again, even when it would have been interesting. Instead, they only serve it to provide some fleeting information or to start short and unattractive side missions, even in the terms of the rewards. We were expecting a more lively narration, capable of surrounding and supporting the guest's general aesthetics profile. However, Testament is not all that intriguing in terms of themselves and developments. Confirmed to be devoid of surprise and bite, however, we were positively impressed by the gestures of the protagonist, of whom we only see his hands and arms, but who seems alive whenever he does. The animations of the other characters we meet are fluctuating, sometimes excellent. As in the case of Evil Brother Arva, his narrative interventions are interesting thanks to the market theoretically of the character. Their movements are more woody, but both are in out of the movies. The typological variety of the opponents is limited, featuring classic orcs armor that walks itself, optionally rabid candidates, and swinging zombies. Thankfully, the diversification of biomes is much more captivating, and they have seen caves, mysterious woods, abandoned cities, forgotten temples, countryside, villages, and snow-capped mountains. In their regard, the overall level of detail is good, like the lighting system and discrete polygonal modeling. On our PC, which however is high-end, the game has never shown signs of slowing down in terms of frame rate. We also tested into the Steam Deck, and with some necessary compromises on resolution, everything went smoothly every time. The merit, however, goes largely to careful design of the settings, often separated by rapid loading and some tricks designed to lighten the weight of the hardware. And if you want to deepen the lore, there is also a special menu with description of all monsters faced and analyzed, of the NPCs or of the consumable items. We only hope that the future update will correct the numerous typos we came across while reading the lyrics. The gameplay improves the fortunes of title with a good dose of different situations distributed in well-designed game world, of a little too linear. As anticipated, this area does not offer an open world map but often fun areas to explore. The compass, as always, indicates the direction to the next objective, which can be reached by making your way throughout the enemies. To overcome the unfortunate people we meet along the way, we can draw the sword, resort to explosive magic, and dodge at the last second. There is a stealth approach, which always you to decimate the thugs with the shots from behind or arrows shot at weak points from the shadows. In addition, the former ruler can use a sixth sense to find out the position of the opponents, even throughout the walls. Finally, it's often possible to get throughout the zone fights with the Lily Parker. You do need sooner, but you lose prizes, experience points, and the chest. The control system is equally responsible and precise in every situation. We had tested it with both mouse and keyboard, and with the control, which we have found more intuitive and comfortable for platforming. We like the presence of block path to be explored later with the new abilities Metroidvania style. Thanks to a handy teleportation obelisk, we didn't even have to work back every time we encountered one of the aforementioned momentary obstacles. Most of the time behind a magical day to break into or beyond a collapsed bridge, a plot advancement was hidden, the main road to follow, in the rare cases in which their areas have proved to be optional in nature. We have always obtained rewards commensurate with the effort to track them down. Twirling with the protagonist remains the activity that he enjoyed the most, especially when we had to reach the caps of the secret temples. Then we are not long dungeon strewn with the traps without or even an opponent where you can discover the lore of the ancient civilization and take advantage of Aaron's precision in jumping, as well as his ability to run on specific walls, a la Prince of Persia. The first person win does not annoy. On the contrary, it makes overcoming of some sections even more intense, which especially in advanced consumptions has proven to be quite demanding. Whenever you are in easy, normal, or hard mode, the nature of the shiny and mysterious, almost alien seeker constructions does not change. We also encounter more throughout trials, such as tangled and dark mazes featuring believed architecture and satisfying puzzles. Otherwise, the puzzles of light that have blocked our way from the time to time, they are the least pleasant parts of dungeons, because they want to break the rhythm of progressing underground. Immediately after a heart-pounding session on the shot, it is not the best having a series of revolving minor mirrors in a device, which opens only if we manage to reflect a laser beam throughout its gears, especially since the solution, when it's not obvious, can also be reached by moving the pieces of the puzzle a little randomly. Our favorite moments, however, are precisely the leaps between the stoner platforms that fly turn aside and move more than the infamous Hogwarts stairs. The watchword is always simplicity, and in the fact the title of the airship does not offer anything really new. Despite this, the design of the mini playouts was carried out with the competence, perhaps also because of the acrobats and the characters are made more physical by a side interior, which mimics the recovery balance upon the landing and the instability upon detachment of the soil. Furthermore, the challenges are never artificially difficult. When you get to the end, the prizes are always an object to advance in the story and more powerful than normal equipable magic to be exploited in the other mainly campaign and testament the fights. Unfortunately, the reaction of the enemies, the blows are not appropriate and they are not different much based on the attack launch. With the exception of the protagonist movements, the push, fall, and beat animations of mobs are unconvincing. Even when they want to attack us, our adversaries just act jerky, in an unpleasant way to look out, which undermines the pleasantness of scientific impact and sometimes risk breaking the tension of the battle. While testament the order of a human fight is the experience with ups and downs. The plot is never really managed to intrigue you, but Game World offers several interesting settings and exploration remains pleasant thanks to the fun parkour selections. The combat system is quite simple, yes. It does not fail to give magical blows worthy of the name in various ways to make the protagonist more lethal. At the same time, and unfortunately also applies to the bosses, the movement of the enemies have been proved to be a bit Spartan and unable to match the quality of what has been confirmed as a good visual presentation. If you are looking for an adventure that not too long focused on the challenging gameplay and made by the people with an obvious passion for action RPGs, you overlook the flaws and enjoy it by yourself. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe. Bye.